everybody? Live from Koreatown on a thank God balmy fall day in Southern California. It is the O-ZONE. I'm your host, Omar Miller. I'm here with my brother from the same mother.
What up,
Terry
what up,
Miller,
what up?
also known as the Icons, also known as Trolling Terry.
What's good?
How you feeling?
Great.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Beautiful weather.
Beautiful weather. I would pass on that 100 degrees every day for the last 3 months. And we have a special guest.
Who is it?
My brother from another mother.
Uh-oh. Give it up.
Who plays the recently dearly departed Keeson Teague on HBO's Ballers, ladies and gentlemen.
Give it up.
Jeez.
Kris Lambo Lofton in the house. What up, Lambo?
Oh, man. Oh,
Came in crispy.
man, I got a hoodie on, but you can see the goosebumps.
That's it.
If
It's
I was
underneath.
sleeveless, you could see it. I promise.
The love is real. Folks, we got a great episode for you. Kris is a great guy. I've known him for a few years now from us working together. He actually knows Twizzy Twitch that's on the cameras on me that put the jam down for us.
My
Jam is
boy.
growing, too.
The jam is growing. It's released on Spotify now if you want to hear that. The name of the jam is Cameras on Me. It's on Spotify. Look for Twizzy Twitch.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to the Lost Visionary.
Yeah, shout out
Going to
to
be
Twizzy.
performing at that AC3 festival down in Atlanta.
Oh, yeah.
Really proud of the young
Oh,
man.
yeah, he doing it. He's
getting it
next.
done, right?
He's
Next.
Everywhere I go, I see him. I don't care if I'm in Miami, Texas. I could be in Delaware somewhere at a random 7-Eleven. And
what's
be
up,
like, Kris?
What are you doing?
He's out there getting it done.
Where are you
Out there
going?
getting it done.
He's out there getting it done. He's got to go get it.
Yeah,
we had a conversation where we told him he can't get discovered in the living room, and so he's out there going to get it now.
Yeah, he definitely is.
And we appreciate the contribution with the jam. So, folks, we got a lot to talk about today. Enormous fights this weekend in Los Angeles at the Staples Center.
Not even regular fights. Enormous
championship
big.
fights.
Yeah.
3 championship fights on one card.
Belts are on the line.
The belts
Definitely.
are on the line, and there's parity in these fights. These are
Very
tight
much so.
fights. We're going to talk about our predictions for that. Going to talk about Major League Baseball because it is almost the most wonderful time of the year, folks. We're about 4 days out from the Major League Baseball playoffs starting. I personally don't think there's anything better. Football's in gear. Basketball's gearing up. If you're a puck guy, hockey is popping. Still going down in soccer. And the most important thing in the world that's on the line is the World Series. And them boys are ready to fight for it.
They're ready to go.
We got a caller waiting in the wings. We got Do It for the Tipper, who's always coming in hot with his college NCAA football picks and some gambling notes for y'all. And I wanted to start with a little news out of the NBA. Did you guys see this thing that Kyrie Irving just did in his press conference?
No way.
Talking about KD?
Yeah, he put the NBA on blast, like indirectly but directly.
What'd he say? I didn't
They asked him if he was excited to, play with Kevin Durant and how quickly he was going to come back. And he said, all right, let's just be honest here. Kevin wasn't ready to play last year. He had been out for 31 straight days, and we put him out there just to push a product, and we put the product in front of Kevin, the band. And I'm letting you guys know now, I'm not going to let that happen. I'm going to protect him for the whole rest of the season. He needs to get right, however long that takes. I don't want to see any pressure for him to get back because I want him to be his best Kevin.
That's awesome that he's got his back like that. But
Yeah, that's dope. Early on in that. That's going to build camaraderie, whatever they
Kevin's
do.
got to take some responsibility for that, too. Didn't nobody put no gun to his head.
Did nobody tell Kevin?
Did nobody make Kevin do that? Hey, he want to hoop. I want to hoop, too.
I want to hoop. I got a bum knee right
But I
now.
gotta know,
But let me tell
you
you,
gotta know
if
your
y'all tell me the
limitations.
championship is on the line, I might go out there and twist my leg up.
I
Yeah.
feel it. I mean,
This is what it is as a competitor.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you brought that up because it is admirable because the camaraderie was real, especially just getting started, them going in. That's a monster of a 3-headed machine if they can make it happen between Jordan, DeAndre Jordan, low-key the most underrated defensive player in the NBA for the past decade.
Definitely.
DeAndre Jordan, Kyrie Irving, who is a tremendous player, but we've now seen how he can also be a cancer when things don't go his way because his return actually took that Celtics team in reverse.
Right.
yeah,
Because
Sometimes that's
they
just
just
too
keep
much
going down the
superstar.
Celtics,
Right.
man. You seen it with Jaylen Brown? What's going on with that?
he needs his bread.
But he's not
He
gonna get it.
needs a bit much.
A bit. You
needs
see
a
what he
bit
asked for?
much.
I mean, I'm all for know your worth and set the bar high, but come on.
70, right? He was
Laughable.
170.
I literally guffawed. Chuck. I go fall.
He needed 170.
No.
And Danny Ainge was like, yeah, okay. I'd see you.
Cool. I see you on
after
Craigslist.
Halloween.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Right.
I'll see you hanging out with Antonio
Yeah.
Brown.
What is it, April Fool's?
That's what they weren't feeling it.
No.
And I mean, you could even pin part of that on Kyrie Irving because maybe he would have shown his worth to be that if the team had have been what it was the year that they went to the finals.
Well, honestly,
when he did ball out.
But it's like overkill with the Patriots getting AB. You didn't really need Kyrie. You had all that talent on the Celtics. It wasn't necessary.
Well, but the thing was, he was there, wasn't he? He got hurt. Is that not what happened?
Last year, he was hurt. He was hurt, and then they just started coming into their own. That's when Tatum stepped up, and that's when Brown stepped up.
But the problem was, he was already on the roster.
Yeah.
They seemed like they didn't realize how good that young nucleus was of players.
Indeed.
And now they're talking about Kyle Kuzma being out. Like Kyle Kuzma's out indefinitely with that bum foot.
He just got hurt.
Yeah,
in practice.
He got hurt.
That's crazy.
They say not until he comes back from China they're going to do the MRI to figure out how long he's going to be down for.
Oh, wow.
And they asked LeBron about it. He said, so what do you go, 90, 50, 40? He said, my mama said I need to not talk about it, be about it. That's the mode I'm in. Whatever that was.
All right, King.
So King James, I think King James got to make the league pay this year after.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he got to.
First time out of the playoffs in 9 years.
He got to.
Y'all must have forgot.
He's going to be on a vengeance. He's
ranked, I think, number 3 or 4 now as best player in the league.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Oh, no, he's number 3. It's Giannis, Kawhi, and LeBron. And that is completely ridiculous.
Super ridiculous.
I love Giannis, but he can't shoot.
Right. Well, LeBron can't shoot either, but we ain't.
No.
LeBron cannot shoot. Terry.
Hold on a second.
Get crazy.
There you go.
That's a good chance. Chris, that purple. Great story. Great story for you guys. So the first time I met Chris, we had moved this filming of Ballers from Miami to Los Angeles. My character was now the assistant GM, and they brought Chris on as a character named Kisan Teague that was supposed to be the new hot running back that we were trying to sign. Mm-hmm. I really wanted to sign him, but my superior didn't want to give him a deal. Yeah. The very first day of filming that they had, which is all of this is a long story, but it's super relevant to what we're doing today. The very first day of filming that we had was him doing a tryout basically for the team to show his worth. So they had him running 40-yard dashes. It was hot. All right, we're supposed to be on the practice field in Miami. He can't believe it because he knows where I'm going. We were in Irvine, California on a toasty day. Chris showed up in the morning. For those of you who don't know, you work in the movie industry, you work early. You work early, you work late. We showed up. The call time is probably 6:30 or 7. We end up on the field. I have a whistle and a stopwatch. Chris is ready to go. They're like, all right, we're going to run him. Now, there's a backstory here that I don't know if you knew.
Okay.
Because you didn't know everybody at the time.
Right.
Donovan Carter, that plays Vernon Littlefield, that this season's storyline is about e-gaming and so on and so forth. Yeah. The first season, Donovan's storyline was about him trying to get the deal to be the most well-paid defensive lineman in the league. Mm-hmm. And he had to work out. They had some scenes in Miami where they had him working out, and his mom is watching him work out. His mom was like, get it, Vernon. You better work. And he's like, yeah, baby, got to lose 10 pounds so we can get this money.
Mm-hmm. Right.
The day after they shot that scene, I hooked up with DC So Fly. Shout out to Donovan Carter.
Yes, sir.
DC said, oh, this is the hardest workout I ever had in my life. Donovan was a Division I football player.
Right.
Donovan has been an athlete his whole life. They had Donovan do about 200 takes of flipping over a 500-pound tire and running sprints in the Miami humidity.
Yeah.
His arms
and
rubbing.
It was him. His legs too. And so he told me he was like, oh, for real. He's like, I don't know if I've ever had a harder workout. He was like, we shot the scene for about 6 hours.
I didn't know that.
And there was no fake tire. It was me. It was real. So Lambeau shows up on his first day. We all stage the scenes. We do rehearsals. We all read the lines off these tiny papers that are called sides. We all have our sides standing there. We're reading the lines. They're like, all right, let's put it on his feet. So we're going to run a couple 40s. And I was sitting there and I was looking. I was like, man, I hope this young man is in shape. He looks like he's in good shape. I hope he's in shape. Chris pulled out a Marlboro and was like, Kris pulled out a bar from, was smoking and was like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. Just a little tired. It's early, boy. I was like, yeah. I said, I pulled him to the side. I said, hey, dog. I said, I'm gonna just let you. I tried to pull his trouble. I tried to pull his coat. I was like, damn. Top running back on the smoke, huh? I say, hey, man, I'm telling you, I said it's about to get hot out here. I said, just be prepared, man. They're gonna have you do this a bunch. He was like, no, I'm good. That's 6:30. Cut to 9:45. Kris is still running 40s. Full speed.
Yeah, full speed.
Full speed. If you watch it, that's not a camera trick. That's him running full speed for 40 yards.
Was it good?
Sound like somebody had knocked the wind out of his punching. Like when you was a little kid and somebody come on and punch you right in your stomach.
I told myself, bro, I swear I remember that. Oh, and then he on the side when he was off camera, he's looking at me and laughing and going like,
I hit the
you don't need a smoke.
Like, hey, you want another smoke? Kris is like, no, I'm good. I'm good.
How about a Marlboro Light? Get your light menthol.
Now, besides the fact that it was great for us to meet in that fashion,
Hilarious.
that also was the day that Anthony Durrell came to set.
Oh, really?
And that was. I
never knew AD came down.
AD came down.
That's how I met him.
Oh,
originally.
really?
Yep.
We went to how we met him originally. We were familiar with him and his brother, the Fighting Pride of Flint, Michigan.
Yep.
They do great things for their community.
Sure do.
They really are good guys.
Yeah.
And so I was familiar with his work, and he beat cancer.
Yeah, no,
I remember when he had to stop fighting to fight cancer. And I thoughts and prayers, the whole song and dance. I was like, man, this is messed up.
Right.
So we went to watch Gennady Golovkin at Madison Square Garden fight Danny Jacobs. And it was a great fight, great night. And AD was sitting right by us.
Yeah.
And he ran up and was like, man, how you had a fight? And just ran up on us. So we started chopping up with him, fast friends. I told him, I said, hey, man, you come out. He was like, man, I love ballers. I said, listen, you come out, you come to set.
Right.
And he came that morning. He came early. Him and his wife, they came early that morning.
Yeah.
Ever since then, we've been thick as thieves.
Yeah.
That's
and he's
what's up.
fighting this weekend.
Yes, he is.
Versus the young stud, David Benavidez.
Yeah.
Now, we went down to the Grand Arrivals this week.
Wait. Let's get back to some facts.
Okay.
Not conjecture. You said LeBron can't shoot.
We gotta go. So you on that LeBron?
Okay, come on now. What? It depends on what's your definition. What's your definition of shoot?
LeBron's shooting 50%. The league is 46.
That's subjective because see,
I only go by
those numbers are based off of those little layups, those 2-footers, those 3-footers. So that's 50%, just a field goal percentage. I'm talking shooting.
From three. He shoots 34%.
Blah. What is I just get a blah. I'm gonna put it to you like this.
You ain't scared of.
I'm not scared of LeBron shooting. Are you in fear of LeBron shooting? If you're not in fear of someone shooting to me, you can't shoot.
Well, he put a lot of people's lights out with him shooting. And
I hear
even a broke clock is right twice a day.
Poll and a question for our O-ZONE listeners here.
What is
you guys can call in 424-254-9663. Can LeBron James shoot? LeBron, I know LeBron listens to the show. I mean, we know how you feel about it, King James. Lambo has something else to say. What'd you say to LeBron?
King James, you're not the greatest shooter. Will you kill me on the court? Of course. Will you shoot my lights out? Of course. But by NBA standards,
he's definitely not the worst.
No, I didn't say it was the worst, but I'm not in fear of it. I will back off 5 feet and lag off on defense to try to protect him from going to the lane before I step up. You can't.
You cannot stop him.
You can't.
I would like to see him go to the lane more.
You can't stop him at the cup.
But I swear, would you give LeBron 10 open layups or 10 open threes?
I'll give Steph Curry 10 open threes before 10 open layups. I'm not a believer in the new age basketball where you give people layups.
Right.
I don't think. I'm not a fan, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But let's stay on focus. So let's talk about the fights this weekend. Even though Trolling Terry likes to go in reverse.
I'm pissed. Don't like people talking about Bron's game.
You messed up his man crush Monday. His man crush Friday. King James, the supernova. So the fight tomorrow night, the fights are going to be just incredibly interesting because the title holder is Anthony Durrell.
Right.
Anthony holds the 168-pound belt that he won because the young 21-year-old or 23, I'm not sure how old David Benavidez is. I think he's only 21.
Maybe 22.
Yeah, the young boy never lost in the ring.
Right, yeah, he's like 22-0, right?
With 18 knockouts.
Yeah.
Get people out of there.
Right.
He has heavy hands. But he lost his title outside of the ring because he tested positive for cocaine.
So let me ask you this. Is he a lineal champion?
Technically, he's a lineal champion.
Right? Well, I'm scared of him then because, like, now I'm thinking about John Jones. So
Right.
if he getting off
Off that stuff.
whoa.
So,
No, he was sniffing that coke. You ain't tell me that.
He was on that coke.
I ain't know he was on the okay.
That white girl had a hold of him.
He's a dangerous
He's
man.
22 years old. The white girl had a hold of him. He shook her loose.
Oh yeah, that's that. Yeah, he's
He
scary.
shook her loose.
I'm a little scared of him.
And so now this is going to be a clash of the Titans because AD has stated he was looking for a couple more championship fights and he was on his way out. This may be the bag that he was looking for to ride off into the sunset. But what the dog has is heart.
Major heart.
And he also has experience. He's been a pro.
And he's mean.
He's mean. And he's been a professional since David Benavidez was 8 years old.
Whew.
And from what we spoke to him on, what was that, Wednesday?
Yeah, Wednesday.
We spoke with him on Wednesday at the Grand Arrivals when everybody got to town for the fights.
Mm-hmm.
And he told us that sheer experience is going to win him this fight. Is that
so.
he has experience and he's watched tape and he's seen things that he's not impressed with David Benavidez. And he wants to put a lesson on this boy. And when he found out he was an 8-1 underdog, he was training in Vegas. And he went and put a substantial amount of money on himself.
Oh, did he?
And showed us
He
the
got the
ticket.
ticket. I can
He
see it
walks
right
around with the ticket in his wallet because he's going to pull it out after the fight
When he wins.
so everybody can be quiet. That's what he told us.
Oh,
Come on.
I believe him.
I need to go try to put some bread
Plus
on him.
450. 450, meaning 8.5 to 1. So every $100 you bet, you win 450.
Oh, I need to make that bet. I need
Might
to
even be
make
plus 800. I think he may be.
I think I got time. Can you do it online?
You got time.
You can do it on Bet Online.
You got to set it up. You can set up your site.
Yeah.
And then, but Benavidez is scary, man. People, I've watched him fight a lot. He's really good. He's really, really good. But again, I don't know if has the experience to do what he wants to do against
he
the dog.
battle-tested?
And what's going to happen when he gets knocked. And that's what we haven't seen. We're gonna find out. He's just young.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's not good and he doesn't have the potential
you've
to be
always
great.
spoke highly of
I
him.
spoke highly of him even when he got caught on that coke.
Right.
I've been watching the kid for a while.
Okay, and you're a fan.
I'm a fan. I'm a
Okay.
fan. But I gotta roll with dog.
Yeah, I'm rolling with him too, man. And I was just at the weigh-in. I told
Okay,
you,
lay it on
all
us.
off the record.
Yeah, what it feel like?
I was just at the weigh-in. The room was crazy. He came out. AD came out just like strictly business.
He's
came
not messing around.
Yeah, he didn't come out. Wasn't no smoke and mirrors. Wasn't no flashiness. He just walked clean out there. And then when they gave the interview at the end, and they asked him about that, they said, "Yeah, they have you coming in as the underdog." And he said, "Well," and she said, "Do you have anything that you want to prove to anybody?" He was like, "No, I don't have nothing to prove to him." He was like, "I'm gonna prove it to the world."
I saw that. He said, "I'm gonna prove it to the world."
He said, "I'm gonna prove it to the world." And
he said, "I'm a teacher." And I
got a lesson to teach this boy. He said it. And I said,
yeah,
these are savages and this is Sparta. Now I felt like this is Sparta.
David Benavidez said, toda la gente de la raza, yo quiero mucho.
Yeah.
He made
all
it
of
very,
that.
very clear that he's down with the squad. He's happy with the people that are down with him. He had a lot of support on Wednesday. A lot of people were there for him.
Yeah.
And now moving to the main event, Earl Spence.
Yeah.
Also known as The Truth.
Ooh.
Undefeated.
Ooh.
Vicious.
Yeah, he's nice.
He can box. He can slug. He's got it all.
Mm-hmm.
Versus a friend of the O-ZONE.
Yeah, that's the homie.
Sean Showtime Porter.
Yeah, Porter the homie
Came
too.
to the O-ZONE.
Yeah,
The
Porter the
belt.
homie.
He told us he was gonna go get the belt. Then he went and got the belt. And he's always stayed down. He's a great guy. I'm really excited because I don't think Earl has ever fought someone with this much pressure, who's this well conditioned, who will be in his chest.
Yeah.
But Earl is an extremely accurate puncher. Bone, you had something to say before. What do you think is a factor that it's going to come down to in the fight?
I think it's going to come down to the game plan, actually, between the two trainers what game plan they're going to implement.
Sean's father, Kenny Porter, who's also family of the O-ZONE. Derek James,
who's also
who is family of the O-ZONE.
I honestly,
we're in the squeeze here.
We're in the squeeze. I can't call it. It really comes down to it literally comes down to game plan. And
I think Earl has the edge.
Earl definitely has the edge.
Earl has the height. Earl has the length. And I would venture to say Earl has more power, but I think Sean has been in more difficult fights.
Yes.
Which goes a long way.
Yeah.
And thus, I'm betting the draw at plus 2,200.
You drawing it? You think it's gonna be a draw?
I can't call
if it goes the distance, I think that
I don't see Sean stopping Earl.
No.
Right.
And yet at the same time,
and I don't
Earl's talking about how he's going to be the first person to stop Sean Porter.
Yeah.
I've only seen Sean in trouble a minimal amount of times, let alone he's never been stopped. And also, I do factor in the idea that Earl couldn't get Mikey Garcia out of there, and he punished Mikey Garcia. Mikey would have done better to get knocked out.
No, but I think that I can't use that as a gauge because Mikey is an elite fighter.
Mikey's the top 5 pound for pound, in my opinion.
And how many times have you seen him get hurt?
I have not seen Mikey in trouble.
So just because he moved up and fought Earl doesn't mean that he,
2 weight classes.
I feel like they both their endurance levels is crazy on both of them.
Yeah.
But I like you said, I think Spence might have an edge.
He has the edge
as far as that. But at the weigh-in, one thing that
what was clear at the weigh-in?
To me, what I took from that weigh-in, I don't know if it matters, but to me, they said that they came in weighing the exact same 147
on the nose.
But brother, that boy Porter, his 147 looked a little bit more husky. His 147, I was like, wait, he's the same weight?
Right.
I was like, no, that boy came out there like
but
this.
You know what? Both of those guys usually probably walk around at 175, 180.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, Spence walks around at like 175.
Yeah, and he's a big guy. He's a big 47. I venture to say that Earl Spence is actually the best in the world at 47 and 54.
Right, and he spars against guys who are at almost 250, 300. You see it?
Who's he sparring against 300-pound guys?
Well, he had a friend that did you watch the PBC? He sparred against this guy that used to be 300 pounds, and now he's down to, I think they said he got down to 250, and now he's down to around 215 or 220 or something.
Okay, that's not 300.
But he started out at 300, and through the years he's come down.
This is we have to keep an eye on Terry. He likes
he
likes to stretch things out.
I watched the show. I watched it.
We negotiated down from 300 to 215.
Right.
215 is plenty. Maybe
it's 250. I might be off because the guy is big. You can watch it. It's on the BBC on their show.
Sure, Terry.
You'll have to give us the channel.
Yeah, obviously you guys aren't supporting because it was on BBC.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The truth is out.
Talking about. Let's talk about the truth. Chris Lofton, you've had a wonderful career. You've acted for a very long time. I tell people all the time, I am not a fan of children being actors. I'm not a fan of child acting usually.
Right.
Because the adult version of children actors I know usually aren't their best version of themselves. Acting is a very involved process on the highest level, and it's very difficult to play somebody else when you don't know who you are yourself. And as a kid, you're still finding yourself.
Wow, that's deep. Oh, damn.
I found you. This is an intervention. Chris, I found you to be one of the most stable, if not the most stable, child actor that I know.
Yo, that's dope.
You're a very solid adult. Mm-hmm. And, man, you put clips up on your Instagram, on your Twitter, all the time of various work that you've done from the film with Keanu Reeves. Yeah. I mean, you're all over the place, and you've garnered a lot of support. Tell us how the Baller situation came about for you.
Man, well, for me, Ballers originally, I don't know if I ever told you this, but when I was still living in Chicago, I auditioned for Ballers from the pilot, from the jump.
You did tell me this.
Okay, yeah.
Because you were also friends with family of the O-ZONE.
My boy Leroyce.
Royce the Voice.
Yeah, Royce the Voice. Yeah, that's my brother.
Yeah.
Like,
Chicago.
Me and Leroyce lived together in Chicago. That was my boy. That's like that's my brother. You know what I'm saying? So I remember when he was going through the whole situation. Leroyce Hawkins, he's an actor, Chicago PD. Yeah.
6-7 seasons.
Exactly. Syndication's looking real good for him. Right. Oh, man.
Leroyce's family looking strong out there.
Yeah, real strong.
Now, side note, Leroyce, and I was in Leroyce's first film.
Oh, yeah?
The Express.
Oh,
Leroyce got on in The Express. That's how I know Leroyce.
Yeah.
He shot it in Chicago.
No, I know.
And it was his first thing. And we had a blast because Leroyce is hilarious.
No, Leroyce is
he's one of the funniest people I've ever met in my life.
For a fact.
And he also
fact.
Advantage Omar.
Oh, he was on Advantage Omar.
Yeah.
That's how he knew.
Definitely, yeah, man.
So
small world with that, yeah. So me and Leroyce are homies, and I auditioned for Ballers for the pilot for London's role for Fat Reggie.
Okay.
Right? And but I did a self-tape because I didn't live in LA.
Yeah.
So they hit me with the email back, and as actors, we hear it all the time. We love him, but he's just not right for this role.
Yeah.
But
we're gonna keep an eye.
Yeah, we'll keep him in mind for another
stuff.
for a role down the road. And I was just like,
discouraging.
I'm like, whatever.
You gotta let that roll off.
I just said, all right, cool, whatever. Fast forward 2-3 years later, I live in LA now. And now I get an audition for Ballers.
Okay.
For Kassan Teague.
Yep.
And I remember looking at the breakdown, and it just said possible reoccurring maybe up to 3 episodes. But I was like, yo, that's lit. I was like, in my head, I'm like.
And it was, at the time, it was like one of the biggest shows on TV. It was a giant show.
Yeah, I'm like, oh man, yes, 3, 4, I don't care how many Ballers. Yes, let me get in there, please. Right. Went to the audition, and I booked it off one audition. I ain't had no callback, no director session, no nothing.
That's a big deal because I'm here to tell you that the powers that be at Ballers have a hard time making up their mind.
Right,
and
bro,
that's great.
Bro, I'm not the most like spiritual person in the world. I'm very like spiritual, but not the most religious, if you will. I say that. But brother, something came over me. I kid you not, Omar. I literally, as I'm walking out the audition, I called my mama. And I was crying. Oh, wow. I said, Mama. I said, Mom, I just auditioned for this show, this HBO Ballers, Mom, that show with The Rock that I told you that I auditioned, Mom, whatever. I said, Mom, I just auditioned for it. I'm going to get it. I said,
you can feel it.
I said, Mama.
Wow.
I said, I don't know. I said, Mom, I got goosebumps and I'm crying. I said, I just know something just told me that life is about to be different now. And I said, Mom, I got it. And I never say stuff.
You claimed it.
I said,
and for somebody who's not religious,
right.
From somebody who grew up in the church,
right?
You use one of Jesus's commandments there to speak things that are not as though they are.
Right, exactly. Right. No, I grew up in the church too.
Yeah.
Like, but as I got older, like I stopped kind of going to church and just seeked more into my inside and reading the word and just my spiritual being.
They never go wrong.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, I seeked more into that as to going to the place. Yeah. So like I told my mom, it was just I had that feeling, bro. Like nothing has ever happened to me like that. Where I
you knew,
bro. I didn't even.
Who was in the audition room with you?
Sheila Jaffe.
It was
Sheila and what's
Vanessa?
Yep.
Oh, that's great.
Literally, both of them in that office, and I came down those little stairs at her offices. I came down those stairs before I even walked out the gate. I called my mom. I was just like, I just had goosebumps, bro. I was shaking, and just tears forcefully came out my eyes.
Wow.
Like I was just like, bro, broke down, and I said, Mom, like everything about to be different now. And I was like, I felt it, Mom. I said, I'm gonna get that. That's for me. I said, nobody else. I said, that ain't for nobody else. Like,
that ain't for nobody else.
I said, Mom, that wasn't for nobody else. I said, nobody went in there and did what I just did, Mom. I know it. I said, I said, they should be calling.
Wow.
I said, Mom, they should be calling me within the next couple hours. If they don't.
Matter of fact, hold on, Mom. I gotta go.
Matter of fact, let me call my agent. I should be calling them now and let them know how I'm feeling because they need to call them right now. They need to call them. And then, yeah, man. So I end up getting it and
end up working on the show for 3 years.
Yeah, bro. I don't know.
Brought it home. The last 3.
Yeah,
brought him home.
Man, yeah, that's still surreal to me. Like, I don't think you understand. Like, your career, just you, bro. I look up to you. Like, this is still crazy to even be sitting here on the podcast, and it's like we're homies now. Like, this is it's like what a difference a day makes, bro. Like, I sit there and just watch your stuff.
I tell people this all the time. It's possible. And that's something you have to hold on to because we're in a rejection business. Mm-hmm. For me, it worked out well that I was a baseball player, and I imagine it did for you as well because baseball is a failure sport.
Yep.
And acting in Hollywood is a failure sport. Mm-hmm. You get more no's than you do yeses, but all you need is one yes to change your life.
That's it. And I love that ratio. I love that the risk to reward ratio was worth it to me. It made it very much so worth it because I felt like I always used to tell my mom, I was like, Mom, I'm going to keep going at this. I don't care how long it takes because it's a numbers game. And I said, at the end of the day, Mom, there is no other profession in the world where you can literally say that I'm one phone call away from not only my life, but the lives around me changing forever. I said, where do you get that from? You can't do that with no other profession that there is. Like one call, it's over. Your life would never be the same again.
Folks, if you're just tuning in now, we're talking to Kris Lofton. a.k.a. Kisan Teague from the hit show Ballers on HBO that I happen to have a small role on as well. And Kris, tell the people where they can find you on social media.
Oh, man, they can find me on social media. It's my name on everything, Kris D. Lofton, but it's Kris with a K. None of that CH stuff. They need to know it's Kris with a K, D. Lofton. That's it, man, on all handles.
That's awesome. And so now on Sunday's episode, spoiler alert, on last Sunday's episode of Ballers, Kisan Teague left the series.
Yeah, man.
The streets caught up to the young man.
Yeah, the streets caught
up to him in a strip club.
Come on.
Last thing he saw was some titties.
Yeah.
Last thing he saw was some titties.
At least something positive comes out of it. But unfortunately, he had to go.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that, because I've only had to do that. I have done it a couple times, I think, but I haven't done it a lot, where your character gets shot and or dies in the scene.
Yeah.
And I know that, like, for me, I remember I did it in Miracle at St. Anna, and I had to go hug my mother after she would watch the piece. Like, I'm here.
Right.
Cool, I'm
yeah.
What was the process like for you going through that? And the response has been tremendous.
Yeah,
I see people... I have seen people on social media, when I go spy on it, say that was the best episode of the series.
Yeah. I've seen people say that too. That's crazy. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, I remember first reading it. Funny story. They don't send us the episodes. They don't send us the scripts if we not in them. So I never saw any of that. So Carl, shout out to Carl, TTD on the show. Carl hits me up and he's looking out and he's like, yo, Kris, you seen this script? And I was like, no, what's up? He was like, man, you gonna love this, boy. And I was like, what's up? And I'm like, what's happening? He was like, man, you got a scene with Dwayne, finally. You got a scene with The Rock. And I was like, oh, man, send me the script.
Yeah.
And then he sends me, he said, all right, I'm gonna just send them all to you. And I'm looking and I call him back. I say, Carl, how much of this did you read, buddy? And he says,
get through it all.
I just read my stuff. What's up? I said, I die.
My character.
And he said, wait, what? I said, bro, page 36, line 4, section B. I said, I die. Read this. I said, matter of fact, no, I'm going to just send you a screenshot and you tell me what you take from this act. Because
I don't think he's coming back.
I don't think he's coming back. It says,
I went to the chest.
It's like we then zoom on Kisan as he takes his last breath.
I think that's pretty final.
And then that's it, the end. I'm like, wait a minute, what? I'm like, no, I'm dying. So then I didn't know it was going to be our last season at this point.
Yeah.
So in my head, I'm just like, wait a minute, no.
I see Carl's been hanging out with Dwayne. They both got some good news, some cool, inspiring news.
Some cool, good news. We don't want to go. Shut up, Donovan. Did you talk to Donovan? That's our running gag. Cool, good news.
Donovan called me. I was on set of the Unicorn with Rob Corddry. Oh, yeah. And when Dwayne dropped the post saying that the show was over, and
he got some cool.
I think Dwayne, you know Dwayne, he's a solid, very solid dude. I think he was just kind of caught up in the emotion of it all.
Yeah,
and decided to tell us all that it was some cool, good news. And it was going to be the last season of Ballers.
You like that?
Donovan called me and said, "Who is that good, cool news for?"
Good, cool news. He said, "Me and Donovan, that's literally our running gag now." So got some cool news.
Got some cool news.
I
you
broke
know it's
my
all
leg.
bad, huh?
Hilarious, bro.
Oh,
so yeah, man, I was like, okay, I didn't think it was gonna be the last season yet, so I was just like, wow, like, all right, let's see. Yeah. I just was like, then I said I had to come to grips with it. I hadn't died on camera since a child actor.
Uh-huh.
I died as a child. Like, so I guess that's you say you don't believe in child acting. I died when I was like 12 years old in an independent film I did. I shot myself in the head playing with a gun or something like that, gruesome at a kitchen table. Like I was playing with a gun and I shoot myself in the head and die. And I was like 12.
What's the name of that movie?
It's called Hell's Most Wanted.
I'm gonna make sure I don't see that one.
Yeah, it's called Hell's Most Wanted.
I don't want that one on my queue.
Yeah, I was like 12, bro, like ridiculous. But so I was like, okay, for me, I'm good at compartmentalizing. So I was like, all right, I can separate that. It was just more so for like my mom because she's,
of course,
yeah, the mom's
traumatic,
bro. I had to force my mom to watch that episode. I'm like, Mom, it's not even that bad. At the end of the day, it's a comedy. It's not gruesome. I'm like,
and I'm sitting here.
Yeah, I'm like, and I'm on the phone with her. I said, it's fake, Mom. I said, Mom, grow up. I said, how old are we, Mom? Get yourself together.
They don't want to hear it.
They don't want to hear how
They don't want to see that. They don't want to visualize that.
They don't want to visualize
it.
Yeah, I can imagine, though, as a parent. And I know Mike B said that's why he stopped doing roles like that, because he didn't want his mom to have to continue sitting through watching him die all these times.
Yeah.
Kudos to Mike.
Mike B's mom is great. I met her at the Image Awards. She's great.
Yeah, I love his mom. Yeah.
Yeah, man. You know, I think you've done a great job on the show.
Man,
I really do. I think that the work has been very solid. It's been super authentic.
Yeah.
I like what they did as far as pitting you against Ricky Jarrett as as like a running theme.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the sky is the limit. You know, there's so much more to do, especially now with making independent projects. You know, you can have better quality shooting on your phone now than we used to have on independent films that came out in theaters.
Yeah.
You know?
Legit.
So, you know, you have you shot a pilot. What tells the people about the pilot that you shot?
Oh, okay, yeah.
For Freeform, correct?
Yeah. I did a Freeform pilot called Unrelated, new Kenya Barris show, and right now we
rolling with the winners.
Yeah.
Kenya's on fire.
Kenya's
Who else is
definitely
involved
on
with the
fire.
project?
Jordan Sparks is involved, and a couple other people. Man, we got some stuff cooking on like Disney, ABC. So now he's just kind of playing that hiatus waiting game that they play in Hollywood.
I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, they don't know if they're gonna press stop on the show or they're gonna press go. So just sit here and wait until we tell you. So,
but if you learn nothing else from your experience, like with this, what's for you is for you.
Indeed.
So no need to fret about it.
It's always nice to be wanted.
Yeah,
right. It is what it is, man. Like you said,
it's
I know
cool, good news if it doesn't go.
Right. Awesome. I'm expecting some cool good news any day now. Any day now. Oh, some cool good news, and I'll be sure to call you when I get it.
Oh my goodness, hilarious. Now, growing up, you were an athlete.
Yeah.
What did you play?
I played baseball and football, man. Those are my two sports. I played basketball as a kid. Like
I wish I would have never picked up a basketball. Basketball messed up my knees, my ankles, my shoulder.
See, I played that
rough.
All through middle school was like really basketball. But see, I went to like predominantly white, like from second grade up until eighth.
Mm-hmm.
It was like maybe a handful of black people, me and like 6 other kids.
Okay.
I went to like predominantly white. So we dominated the basketball team. It was us. You know what I'm saying? It was us. Like, y'all are on the bench. Okay, Timmy? It is Kris. It is Ernest. It is John. We are, they start.
Y'all the Fab Five.
Right, we the Fab Five. And you know what I'm saying? So when I decided to make the decision, when it came time for high school, I told my mom I got recruited to play basketball at St. Joe's, where they made the infamous Hoop Dreams movie about me.
Oh, yeah.
Coach Ping recruited me.
Oh, wow.
Because that's where I'm from. I'm from Westchester, Illinois, Bellwood, Illinois, where St. Joseph High School is.
Okay.
That's where I grew up in Chicago. So Coach Ping recruited me to go there to play basketball, but I didn't want to go to St. Joe's because it was a private school, and I was so mannish. I'm like, Mom, I want to go where the girls at. I want to go to public school.
Right.
I don't want to wear a tie and a suit to school every day. I just want to go where my friends are going.
Understandable.
And they're going to the public school, Mom.
Sounds like a kid.
Right. So, and I'm like, you don't have to pay no money because it's just public school. And she was like, all right, if you want to go to the public school. So then I went there, and it flips the switch from predominantly white to now it might be only 5 white people at this high school.
Wow.
Shows.
I tell people all the time.
And now you're off the team.
Right. And now I'm like, I'm not finna go out there with all of them trying to go through the gauntlet of trying to be on the basketball team.
But you can't shoot.
Right. I'm like, you know what? None of them want to play baseball, and I'm great at that. I'm gonna go play baseball at the black school. Nobody wants to do that.
Wow, it's true.
You know what I'm saying?
All the time. And now I shot the Express in Chicago. I was there. I probably was there, I don't know, 4 months, 3-4 months, something like that. I tell people all the time, Chicago, to me, is the most segregated city in the United States.
Yeah.
I have never been someplace more clearly segregated.
And it make you feel uncomfortable.
Bone had a couple experiences when we were out there shooting for Advantage Omar just last year.
Yeah, they just literally ran from me. They run from me.
Where were you at? Like River North or something?
Yeah. Yeah,
that's where you were at.
River North, right by Mason and all those the places.
I don't know the area that well.
Yeah.
I know I was downtown, and I know that a guy at the light literally ran across the street from me. I was just trying to get something to eat, dude. Then he ran into the restaurant that I was going into, and he ran out the back door.
He thought you followed him in the restaurant. Hilarious.
Yeah, crazy, right?
Yeah,
this is how Terry ends up on Sean King's handle.
Hilarious.
Yeah. Wow, it's a crazy story. Well, we're glad to have you in the Hollywood industry. Folks, you guys know where to find him. Kris Lofton's our guest today. Gonna keep on keeping on. We got his caller to call in and talk and pick his college picks.
Hello?
Do it for the tipper.
trapped?
Are you trapped in the closet?
Do they have
Do
you?
they have you? Is this a
Here we go.
hello? What are you so scared of? Do it for the tipper. Are
You scared of your picks?
Are your picks that bad? Are your picks that bad? Are you nervous?
Oh, God, man. Here we go.
You better tighten up. It's 2 weeks in a row you coming in timid.
Coming in
I'm like,
strong.
what number is this? I was like, oh, it's these clowns.
ICP.
Yeah, this the Insane Clown Posse, old boy. Yeah. Led by you, Tekashi 6 Tip.
Nasty. Oh, your boy, y'all do your voice so
You know we love you. You know we love you. How you feeling in the desert today?
Oh, it's icy cold out here.
Is it?
Sinuses is up. It's raining, but, I love it.
Me too.
Right.
We were just saying the same thing. It's probably low 70s out here. I couldn't be happier about it.
Yeah, I like to cool down. It's perfect.
I'll take it. So we got a special guest today. Our guest is HBO Ballers star Kisan Teague, whose real name is Chris Lofton.
What's
And
going on?
if you've been watching, did you watch Sunday's episode?
Absolutely. I'm down with it.
You saw the tragedy that befell young Kisan Teague. The streets caught up with him.
Yeah, the streets was like, we got you, young player.
Yeah,
did.
don't worry about you.
He's talking wild in the park. You talking crazy? But people don't understand how much of that is improv too, because the majority of our staff is of the Caucasian variety, and there was a lot of.
They never understood what was going on.
I feel they didn't even know. Hey, Chris, that's wild. Where'd you come up with that? Do that thing again.
No, it was crazy.
I should kill your bitch ass right now.
Powerful stuff.
Powerful stuff. Hilarious. Yeah. So Chris is here on the line with you, and we're all here anxious to hear about your picks. Last week you came through. How'd you do percentage wise last week?
Last week I did all right. I went big. I took Wisconsin over Michigan. That was
worked out.
Upset. Worked out. I got a couple phone calls early in the morning at halftime.
I was impressed. I think by the time I tuned in, it was already 28-3 or something like that. I was like, man, he wasn't kidding.
Yeah.
I should have put my bet down.
They got blown.
They got crazy
Me
suited.
too. Yeah. So I won with that one, and then shout out to Cal. We went with go see Cal over Ole Miss.
We did get a Coach Cal the dog spot. Yeah, they got that dub.
They got that one. Clemson pulled off over Charlotte, of course. Texas won over Oklahoma State. And then the other big game was Georgia beating Notre Dame. And I think the biggest upset was, and I didn't pick it, and I was real close. I mentioned it, saying that Pittsburgh was tough to play against.
You did.
And UCF ended up losing to Pittsburgh on that one. And I was real close with saying that. And I just, when you overthink something, I didn't pull it. Didn't pull it. But, and I messed up on the Washington and UCLA when they had
that was a surprise.
Basketball numbers.
Yeah, UCLA was a surprise.
Yeah.
They pulled one out of the hat.
They definitely did.
Yeah.
Shout out to
They're
the
going to keep Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly going to be there for one more game.
Right, exactly. That might have bought him a whole season, to be honest. We'll see, because that kind of thing, people like to think, he must have figured it out.
Yeah.
And he hasn't figured it out.
Nah, look like you believe. No, I don't. Well, I'm an SC fan, so I don't really care about what UCLA got going on.
Yeah,
they don't have much going on.
Right. But, I mean, SC don't either. We just lost.
Y'all got some scandal popping.
Yeah.
Y'all on ABC on Thursday nights. Y'all got scandal.
but SC is going to be all right, though, because SC actually got a win last week on Friday Night Football against Utah.
Yeah, but the week before that, we lost and got knocked out of the top 25.
Yes,
against BYU. He called that upset.
Yeah, so
this is why we got to do it for the tipper on the line, because he's our NCAA college expert. He honestly picks it like from 70 to 80%. The only time he gets them wrong is when he overthinks and he BS's around. So this week, what do you like?
So this week, real quick, got number 1 Clemson over North Carolina. Ole Miss is going to play against them Bamas. So, of course, got to go with the roll tide on that one. Number 18, Virginia is playing at number 10, Notre Dame. This is tricky because Notre Dame they really don't play anyone, but this season they're going back-to-back against top 25 teams. I'm going to go with the Fighting Irish over Virginia this week.
Okay.
Then we got number 21, USC at Washington. Washington, the Pacific Northwest. Difficult place to play.
P&D, especially if you get some weather.
They're going to get some
This one is SC is rolling. SC is rolling. They playing probably their best football since Reggie Bush was there, honestly.
Wow.
I like Washington, though. SC, they're still not proven to me. They can win some games, but they're just not consistent. It's just not proven to me right now. So I'm going to go with Washington. Mississippi State is at number 7. Auburn is a sleeper. For some reason, in the SEC, we always looking at Clemson, Georgia, Bama. Auburn is always that team that's just under the radar. They just always within the top 10. I got to go with the Auburn Eagles on this one. Tigers, I'm sorry.
Tigers, right?
They're the War Eagles.
Yeah, that's
but they're the Tigers.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, the Tigers, yeah.
So Mississippi State is tough, but got to go with Auburn on this one. And lastly, I got Washington State at number 19, Utah. This is going to be my upset call. I'm going with Washington State over Utah.
Okay. Okay, I like the card.
Okay.
And I like the confidence with which you picking right now.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Now, along those lines, what do you think about the fight action that's happening this weekend? We got some crazy odds on fights that I think are going to be much closer than the odds makers are giving.
I need to hear your odds because you the one that be calling it outside the Uber when you pulling up into the Staples Center. What you rolling with?
You know what? I can't call the Spence versus Porter. I think Earl Spence has all of the tools, and I also think he has all the advantages. But something about Sean and Sean's conditioning and Sean's ability and Sean being the homie makes me not want to bet against him. I think the smartest bet that you can bet this weekend for both fights, because they're both plus 2,200, is the draw for both fights. And that's your side bet. I say that's the leverage bet. Right. Because if you put $100 down, that means you get $2,200 back. You put $100 down, if the draw hits, you walk back with $2,300. You can't be mad at that. And if you don't, if you lose,
it's good for that.
They're good for that. If you lose, you just lost your C note. But that's a high risk bet.
Right. My problem with the AD getting the draw is because he's saying that he might go out. So
yeah, and they're not going to give him a draw.
Not going to give him a draw
unless he wins the fight.
Yeah,
unless he wins the fight but doesn't knock him out.
Right.
So then I'm betting dog. I'm betting Darrell because he's 8-1. Yeah. I can't let that go by. I also got a couple dollars to spare, so I can take that risk. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go with dog. So I like a light bet on dog. It's really hard. Me personally, if you're betting and you're looking at minus 1,200, David Benavidez is minus 1,200. Earl Spence is minus 700 or 800. To me, that's not worth it. That means you gotta play. You gotta bet $700 to win $100.
You got to put yourself in harm for a couple of dollars.
That's not worth it for not a guaranteed dub.
Right.
The thing you play stuff like that when it's Clemson versus San Jose State.
Right.
When it's like okay, this is going to be out of hand. When it's the New England Patriots versus the Dolphins.
Right.
That's when you make those kind of bets. But when you're talking about boxing matches where literally anything can happen, it's hard to make those heavy odds. Like that's dangerous to me.
Yeah, no.
So I don't know. I think Spence has all the tools and all the advantages.
It's a trip about Spence is that he could be a generational fighter, but every time he fights, it always seems to be a question mark.
Yeah, what is that?
Right?
Except for this is the first time I've ever had a question mark. I ride with Earl top to bottom.
I'm talking about overall. It seems like the general consensus of the audience is always that there's a little question mark around him being the best.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and they plant a lot of that.
Enough, though.
You said what?
I don't think they've seen enough. I don't think they've seen enough of his fights.
I agree
because he's not a pure knockout specialist, artist, or whatever. He's a complete boxer.
He sure is.
They don't like that no more.
No, you're right. And he doesn't talk crazy. He's not loud. He's not over the top.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
The worst thing he'll say is I'm the body snatcher.
Yeah.
Or hey, I'm gonna stop you.
Right.
It's like
strap season.
It's like strap season. It's like the British police without guns.
Right.
They're a little less threatening. So it's
so I rewatched that fight about a week ago with him and Kell Brooks.
That was a great fight.
It was.
Oh my goodness.
Kell Brooks rocked his jaw, man. Kell Brooks hit him hard.
Kell Brooks, absolutely. So going into that 6th round, it was probably 4-2. Kell Brook was winning.
I agree.
On my card.
I agree.
Yeah.
I had the same way.
Yeah.
And
for him to come back and just put them paws on him,
he put tips
and
on him
win
late.
that fight.
Late.
Yeah.
Come on.
He showed so much heart.
He showed so much heart.
Across the pond?
He got hit hard, and he was not going to get that decision
Right.
if it went to the cards. And he stopped him.
Yeah.
And that was 2 years
Right.
ago.
Now,
so
the only
he's
he's even more seasoned. He's got more strength. The only thing about that is Kell Brook came back way too soon after taking massive punishment
from Gennady.
Gennady Golovkin about 3 months before that with a cracked
was
orbital
it 3
bone.
months?
Maybe 4. Either way it goes, it wasn't enough time. He needed like a year out of the ring.
Yeah, we spoke to the
for
doctor about
that
that.
beating that he took
Yeah.
from Gennady. And
But
he didn't.
my question is, can Porter put that much pressure on a more experienced Earl Spence now?
I think
Spence
Porter.
always
See
had
now,
to
to me, Porter can put the pressure on anybody because he's always the better conditioned athlete.
Now, the difference was when you watch him fight against Ugas, what I saw when he fought against Ugas was that Ugas gave him a problem from the outside, and Ugas hit him diving in, and he kept him off balance, it looked like a lot of the time.
And the only problem I saw with that is, in relation to this fight, is Sean seemed like he wanted to put on a boxing clinic against Ugas for some reason.
Yeah.
Which was not the right approach for the longer.
They need to go
when
with the
you're
Boston
fighting
Maul
the longer-
approach.
Yeah,
It's
you
not-
got to maul him. You got to give him to Joe Frazier. Stay in his chest.
Yeah.
Keep the pressure on him.
I'll say this about Porter. Porter, he comes forward a lot. He's super aggressive. Shout out to the homies and the folks. He's hella aggressive.
Yeah, aggressive,
Coming forward.
folks.
Yes.
So with the fight with Kell Brooks and Earl Spence, I seen Earl Spence come forward majority of that fight with jabs. He's relentless with his jabs.
He's a great fighter. He's a great
this
boxer.
is why he's one of the greatest fighters right now.
He commits to the jab.
He works off of his jab like you're supposed to as a fighter.
And he's a lefty.
Yeah.
And he's a southpaw.
And he's
oh
got
my goodness!
And he's got thumb.
Spence card. I got
We talked. We talked.
Yeah, okay, good job.
Oh my God.
All right, now see you later, dude.
Go bet your minus 1,200. Good luck with that. Oh, man. All right, do it for the tipper. Well, we appreciate having you. You got anything that you want to ask Chris while he's here on the line?
Man, you gonna be at the fight tomorrow, Chris? You know?
Man, I'm trying, to finagle and do whatever I got to do. I'm looking for some tickets. I live too close to Staples. I ride my little Lime scooter over there. I don't even need the Uber or park or nothing. I just ride a little.
You don't even need to give you parking passes?
I don't need the parking
just
passes.
The tickets?
Just the tickets. I'll meet you at Will Call and
let's do it.
Well, if you don't go, let me park at your crib tomorrow.
Hey, I got you just for being real. I got you just for being real. I got you. Tell Otis.
That's great. That's great. Do it for the tipper. Always a pleasure. Glad to see that we got you less under witness protection program and more out of your shell. We'll talk to you sooner than later. We'll see you at the fight tomorrow.
Love y'all. OZONE. I'm out.
Peace. Moving on to the mighty game of baseball. The postseason picture is clearer now, folks. Everyone has clinched except for the AL wild card. That's the only race that's still to be determined. The Houston Astros have yet again won the American League West.
Of course.
The Minnesota Twins actually made a giant leap forward in the team this year and won the Central. Everybody really thought they would. They started hot, and most people thought they were going to end up collapsing and that the Indians would come up and end up winning the Central. Indians fought a lot of injuries this year, and injuries. Cookie Carrasco ended up getting leukemia. Crazy things happen. The New York Yankees are possibly the best team in baseball, and they won the East in a surprising, very surprising division where the second best team in the division was not normally. It's usually the Yankees or the Red Sox.
Yep.
This go around was the Tampa Bay Rays. The Red Sox completely fell apart, and if you've been listening to the O-ZONE all year, then you'll know my synopsis on it has been they never pulled themselves together after the World Series the World Series victory visit that was scheduled to the White House. All of the players of color declined the invite, and all of the non-players of color, all the players of non-color, rather, let's call them the white players, decided that they wanted to go visit Cheeto in the White House. I personally think that caused disruption, whether or not it was spoken, and they never played like a unit again. Yeah. And I'm talking about last year's Red Sox team is one of the better teams I've ever seen. It was a great team.
They almost had the same squad. I think the biggest problem was Dave Dombrowski. You know, he
refused to get any relief pitching.
He refused to get any pitching, period. I mean, you have to bring in pitching. You have to keep on developing. You have to evolve. If you don't evolve and you keep trying to stay with what worked for you back in the day and the other teams are getting better, you're going to have a problem. The Astros got better. The Yankees got better.
The Yankees got better. They went out and got Paxton. They got guys. Right. And the Red Sox are going to be home in 2 more days.
Yeah.
Now let me not for a game. They're just going to be at the house.
This is going to be at the crib.
At the crib watching Spence and Porter.
Who do you have between Minnesota and the Yankees if they end up colliding?
This series, I think, is going to be better than expected.
I honestly feel like the Minnesota Twins can beat the Yankees because the Yankees don't have pitching. And when you come talk about power, the Minnesota Twins have more than everybody.
They got the most power.
Yeah, they have the most power.
And they're going to play
that's what it's going to come down to,
Stadium,
right?
But
neither one of them have pitching. And neither
lately, the Yankees have had pitching. James Paxton has been dealing lately.
You're talking about one
pitcher. The bullpen has been dealing lately. The only person that's been getting dug is CeCe. And CeCe, shout out to Big Blood on the
Tanaka's been struggling.
Tanaka's been struggling.
Yeah, so
I don't even consider J.A. Happ serious. I think that game is a wash. But I mean, you're right. The Twins. This could be the Twins' situation to finally get over the hump of the first round,
right? And be a sacrificial lamb to the Astros.
And that's
they ain't gonna repeat.
They won't. The Red Sox got it last year, but the Astros are real, man.
They all right.
I mean,
Astros are real, but you guys are made for each other. Yeah. But the potential,
it won't work.
But the potential for the wild card is real too, because the A's have been playing solid baseball all year. You have so much parity in the game of baseball. It's the exact opposite of football, because you never know who's going to win baseball games.
Don't. No, you don't.
And you don't. And also, we're looking at a bunch of near 100-win teams.
Yeah, but when you're talking about Garrett Cole, remember Garrett Cole folded under the pressure last time.
Right.
And so
what's going to happen?
Yeah, we need to see Garrett Cole evolve. If he doesn't evolve, there's going to be a problem.
It's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
But now we're talking about, I tell you what else could be potentially a problem is the A's are in.
Unfortunately for everybody else.
That's a problem for everybody in the league, because the A's play scrappy baseball and they get it done, and they're going to host that wild card game. And Tampa Bay is even. I mean, I don't think it's locked that they host a wild card game, because Tampa Bay could end up hosting it.
And you got to go against Charles Morton III,
which is a problem.
Because
he's a World Series champion, he's got a crazy curveurball.
Yes. And cheese.
That deuce and a quarter.
He's been bringing to him.
Deuce and a quarter on you,
man.
Deuce and a quarter. I still to this day can't hit it.
Don't worry. Ain't nobody hit no curveball.
It gets everybody out the game.
Get everybody out of there. The public enemy number 1 is what Vince Scully used to call it.
Man.
So, and then on the outside chance, Cleveland may possibly still get in there. Maybe. We don't know if that's going to happen.
I don't want them to make it. I don't even want them to waste everybody's time.
There it is. Cleveland's not real. You think they're still in the curse?
They're like the White Sox.
That's all good. That's all good.
And he loves the White Sox. Don't let him fool you. All he talks about is Dylan Cease and Eloy Jimenez and Tim Anderson is that guy.
Tim Anderson is the man.
He's
real.
You got Dario.
He's a real person. Yeah, I read this great article on Bleacher Report if you want to listen to about if you want to read it about Tim Anderson speaking about being one of the super minuscule amount of black players in the league.
That's what I'm saying.
And being
and trying to get them to play.
And trying to get other young African Americans to play, and also trying to get more tradition out of the game and more emotion into the game. Bat flips. You know, the whole just living it up. In the National League, the Braves have clinched. I love the Braves. Somehow or another, the Milwaukee Brewers continue to win without Christian Yelich.
Craig Counsell.
This is so impressive.
And if they made it to the playoffs like they did, I would have to say that Christian Yelich is the MVP.
They were on his back all the way up until 2 weeks ago.
If you take him out of that lineup, they are probably barely 500.
And they also had a very weak go-around to end the season, and that helped them playing the Reds, and they pounded the Reds. And Ryan Braun showed up again as the clutch player that he is. They're playing the Cardinals, who at the beginning of the season were actually my pick to come out of the National League.
Yeah.
I love the Cardinals team. I love how they have organized this team.
Jack Flaherty is probably the best pitcher in the National League right now.
Yeah, and Adam Wainwright knows how to win and is thus even though he's a veteran and his stuff isn't what it was,
pitching to contact.
He's showing you a lot. But it's going to be St. Louis versus Milwaukee in that first round, which is going to be very, very impressive.
St. Louis.
I'm going to say St. Louis.
No question. Without Christian Yelich, definitely.
That's the thing.
If you have to see Jack Flaherty twice, you got
a problem.
You got 2 losses coming.
And then you got the Dodgers who I'm wearing today, have once again, I want to say for the 7th or 8th year, won the National League West. They're looking to make their 3rd straight World Series appearance. I think they're looking suspect. The team has cooled down. I want them to win. I don't know. Possibly the most interesting thing going, though, is the wild card. There's going to be a 1-game playoff.
You want the Dodgers to win, huh?
Between. Oh yeah, I'm not mad at the Dodgers. I want Clayton Kershaw to be in the books as a winner of all time.
Yeah, that's cool. That is awesome. But they don't play the game the right way.
They don't play the game.
I don't want them to win if they don't play it the right way. If you don't play it the right way, I don't want you to get no dub.
Let me tell you something. You don't even have to worry about that because that's how the game works.
Yeah, that's how the game works.
Because the game doesn't let you win if you don't play it the right way.
You don't play it the right way, you get out.
Ask Asante.
Too soon, Chuck.
Too soon, Chuck.
Why you got to bring that up?
So the wild card game is going to be between the Washington Nationals and the Milwaukee Brewers. And I actually think that the Washington Nationals have a better chance against the St. Louis Cardinals than the Brewers do.
They do.
First and foremost, because
matching up pitching-wise.
You don't want to see Steven Strasburg dealt again yesterday.
Yeah.
You don't want to see Steven Strasburg, Max Scherzer, and Patrick Corbin back to back to back. You just don't.
Gas. They all throwing gas.
they got gas for you. They got slide pieces.
And
they got
the
whatever you
tricky part
need.
about it is Max Scherzer is the one that's suspect.
Out of that group. And I'll still take him,
and
especially when he doesn't have to be in this potential situation. It's his best chance for it not to be all on his shoulders.
Right. But they're not going to win either because they don't have a bullpen.
But they're not going to win.
But surprisingly, their bullpen has been pitching well this past 2 weeks of the season.
But
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
They have a lot of sticks, and Anthony Rendon, low key, might sneak up and grab the MVP from Christian Yelich and Cody Bellinger.
Over Cody Bellinger, definitely.
Bellinger.
Yeah, you got Bellinger too. Belly's numbers are crazy, but they're slumping right now.
Yeah, but if you take Bellinger out of that lineup, they still can win. You have Max Muncy, you have Corey Seager, you have got a bunch of guys that can literally swing it. I like Cody Bellinger as a ball player, but his game is not complete. I mean, home runs are just not enough for me.
I mean, the kid's betting 300 though.
He's back up to 300.
If he's not, he's right at it.
Yeah,
close to it. So I can't front on Cody Bellinger. He improved, but what it's all about when you're on a team that wins and a team with expectations to win is what you do in October. This is what matters. You could hit 100 home runs in the regular season and it just gets you in the record books. What do you do at that point? Would you rather be Barry Bonds or would you rather be? Would you rather have
I'll be Barry Bonds?
Barry Bonds.
I'll be
cool dude. That's gotta,
who you want to be?
You win. But this is my point. Would you rather have on your team Barry Bonds or Ricky Henderson?
Oh, come on, man. Don't Barry Bonds.
What?
Here you go. Henderson.
Hold on a second.
Ricky Henderson's the man.
Take another one.
Well,
Ricky Henderson is a.
You talking about on my?
I'm talking
about anywhere.
I don't want. Was it just for like one game?
If it's one game, I gotta go with Ricky Henderson. Ricky Henderson can win you a game himself.
And I'm talking about all time. We're talking.
Rick can win you a game 1-0. Nobody's better in a tight game than Ricky Henderson. Nobody.
I mean, against Greek.
Nobody. Yeah, he got it. He got it all.
He just.
Come on now.
You can't front him. But the reason that I'm bringing it up is what I'm saying is Ricky Henderson can perform in the postseason.
Right.
I'm talking about guys that have a history of performing in the postseason versus not.
And
would you rather be
in the post?
Derek Jeter or Alex Rodriguez?
Right.
Give me Derek Jeter all day and twice on Sundays. Alex Rodriguez's numbers are silly. Even if you take the steroids out of the equation.
How can you take them out?
You can't. But even if you did take the steroids out, he can't perform in the clutch. He just doesn't have it.
It's the same thing with Barry Bonds.
That's why I brought him up. And we're looking at potentially the same thing with the guys now. Low-key, Mike Moustakas may be the most clutch guy in the playoffs coming in right now.
Him and Madison. Oh, yeah, Madison Bumgarner.
Madison Bumgarner ain't going to make it. That's what I'm saying.
Your boy Altuve did it for y'all in that
Sure
World
did.
Series.
No, big-time ball player. George Springer's enormous when it comes to – he struggled. But the funny part was, if you remember, he struggled in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs.
No, he struggled. Well, he struggled in the first game of the playoffs.
And he exploded against the Dodgers.
Okay, I figured it out.
Yeah. And exploded. You couldn't get him out in the World Series.
I mean, he went apple.
You couldn't get him out. I remember talking to Giancarlo Stanton about him during the World Series. It's crazy. So this is what it's time to see. Had a big send off yesterday, and I hated the way that it went down, but it was beautiful to see. King Felix Hernandez, shout out to King Felix. He's
your man.
Yeah, that is my man. Okay, Felix Hernandez. One time we were shooting something up in Seattle, and they threw me up on the jumbotron.
Oh yeah.
And I was sitting by the dugout, and he looked up at the jumbotron, and they cut to him looking at me at the jumbotron, And then he looked over at me because I was sitting right there.
Right.
And he was like, hey. I was like, yeah.
Why not?
And he threw me a ball.
Right? That's what's up.
And I swung and missed. Yeah, and so King Felix, man, 15 years. Honestly, probably about 11 years of that is dominance.
Yeah.
11 and maybe even 12.
He was the best pitcher in baseball.
He was the best pitcher in baseball for a long time, and he was mean. And I like my pitchers mean, Jack. He was a mean pitcher out there.
Stayed in the dirt.
He stayed in the dirt. I'm not throwing strikes unless you make me. And then at a certain point of his career, he could throw strikes in the zone and just nobody could put the bat on it.
Right.
He was a really good pitcher. Looks like he's retiring at the end of the year, so I hope he rides off into the sunset. It's unfortunate it won't be in a post-game kind of scenario. And it's also unfortunate because they jumped on him on the way out. The Orioles gave it to him.
That's the way it goes.
That's how it goes.
Just in boxing and everything. You get old, they give it to you.
They give it to you.
Come on, man.
One thing that we didn't talk about last week, the most disturbing thing happening in Major League Baseball is arguably the best reliever, the best closer in baseball is facing felony charges for child sex trafficking and trafficking, child sex abuse, molestation.
Yeah, he's a pedophile.
He's a pedophile.
Felipe Vasquez.
Yeah, thank you. Felipe Vasquez of the Pittsburgh Pirates. You've heard us talk about him a lot. He's a monster on the mound.
And a pervert.
Met a 13-year-old girl at the ballpark, got her number. All these are the allegations, and they have the proof because he confessed. But the reason that he confessed is because they showed him the lewd photos of himself that he sent her without his face, but with all of his tattoos in it. Dumb. And I'm really, really disappointed about this.
That's past disappointment.
And her mom found out via seeing the text of what was going on.
And not only that, he kept it going.
He kept it going for 2 years.
Whoa.
13 years old to 15 years old, and then had the nerve to tell the authorities, yeah, I had a feeling she might be underage.
Huh.
What?
Creep.
Straight creep.
Yeah.
Straight creep. What are you doing? Every woman in the world is at your disposal.
All the ballpark
You're a Major League Baseball player.
Yeah.
Right.
A well-known one.
Yeah, you can come out of the dugout afterwards, or just like the Dodgers used to talk about back in the day, they would have them in between innings and stuff like that. And you decide to mess with a child.
Crazy. Yeah,
I don't even feel like it's you waste time with people like him. I mean, it's really sick. The dude, I mean, there is no rehab for that.
No.
What kind of rehab? How can we get that out of your mind that that's inappropriate?
You can't. Yeah.
And for you to act on it.
Yeah, for you to act on it.
For multiple times.
Sheesh.
Very disappointing. Wanted to bring that up because that's unfortunate news. I feel like everybody needs to know about that sort of thing. And coming down to the end of it, one thing that I really like to see is that this kid Malik Smith on the Seattle Mariners has 45 stolen bases. I would love to see the art of the stolen base come back.
Come back, man.
45,
it's a game changer.
It changes the entire game.
Now, that's something that the Astros don't do well. They don't steal bases well. Only Jose Altuve. I think Bregman's halfway decent, but George Springer can't really steal bases.
Despite being extremely fast.
Yeah.
Right.
You can watch him go get it, but he can't steal bases.
Which is wild.
Yeah, and
this
if you
is
bring
something,
that back, this is a game changer.
This is something the Dodgers can do if they take the reins off of Dave Roberts and they let him actually coach and do that.
Yeah, but it's too late now at the end of the year. I mean,
Cody Bellinger actually is a good base runner.
Yeah, but you have to practice this all year, and then
I hear you.
And then in the World Series or the postseason, you can't just turn it on and like, okay, now I'm still in bags. It's too late.
Yeah.
I didn't practice. And they play a bad brand of baseball, honestly. So you can't expect them. They might make it to the World Series still. I don't think that they can beat.
It's going to be hard this year.
I don't think they can beat the Cardinals.
It's going to be
or
hard
the Braves.
this year. Yeah, it's going to be hard to get past either one of those teams.
Yeah.
Tim Anderson of your Chicago White Sox looks like he's going to end up the batting champion, which is awesome.
How many points is he ahead of DJ LeMahieu?
I don't know. He's batting 338 right now.
And DJ LeMahieu's not that far behind him.
You're right. DJ LeMahieu is way behind him.
How far?
10 points.
Wow.
He's batting 338. DJ LeMahieu's batting 328. You ain't going to make up 10 points in the last week of the season.
Too many
it's impossible.
ABs.
Too many ABs. Too many ABs, child.
Too many
ABs. So then you got Christian Yelich's line is dumb.
And he hasn't played in a month, huh?
And it's perverse. 329, 30 swipes. Wow, Christian Yelich stole 30 bags.
He's 30-30.
80 walks, 97 ribeyes, 44 bombs, 3 triples, 29 doubles, 161 hits, and 100 runs scored in 130 games.
That 40 bombs and only
44 bombs.
Ribby sounds crazy.
No, that's just because that's because he's high in the lineup.
He bats.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
he bats second.
He bats second most of the time.
Oh, okay.
So it's nobody on base.
Crazy.
It's just crazy.
But what's crazy?
And they try to pitch around him.
Yeah, and
right.
it's crazy because the 2-hole hitters is hitting like that.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
And his OPS is 1.1. Vicious.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we got that. We got your man. I know you love Pete Alonso.
I love Pete Alonso. What? Pete Alonso, the real deal.
I know you love Pete Alonso, John. So it looks like Pete Alonso is going to lead the league in general.
Yeah.
He's got 51. He needs 2 to break Aaron Judge's record, 1 to tie it.
I hope he gets it.
Eugenio Suarez has 49. Cody Bellinger's sitting at 46. One thing I think is impressive about Cody Bellinger is that he ended up with 166 hits. A lot more hits than he normally has.
How many strikeouts?
He struck out only 108 times.
Yeah.
That's a big, and they all came in that series against the Yankees.
That's just happened recently.
Yeah, he was.
They put the screws to him.
They did.
They did.
They did. And so, who do you got for Cy Young?
Jack Flaherty. And
American League?
Probably Garrett Cole. Garrett P. Coltrane. That Coltrane.
He'd punch you out of there.
Punch you out.
Take Flaherty.
Yeah, Jack Flaherty. He's literally probably given up 10 runs since the All-Star break.
And how many strikeouts he have?
Jack
close to 200.
Flaherty has gotten 225 guys out of there.
Whew. That's getting you out of there.
Yeah, that's
get you out of there.
And I think he's 23 years old.
Man, guys get you out of there now.
I know.
Jack.
And
I'm looking at it right now.
You know, Walker Buehler started out strong, but now we're watching.
They get you out of there. You get down 2 strikes nowadays, you cancel Christmas.
Yeah,
over.
Well, and he's one of those pitchers that don't pitch to in the upper echelon of the zone because nowadays the pitchers pitch up because guys are trying to launch angle and trying to hit the ball out. So they throw up because they know that you can't really catch up to it. But Jack Flaherty keeps his low.
Which is where most guys should pitch.
Where it is.
Yeah.
Wow. Steven Strasburg punched out 251 dudes, man.
Get you out of there.
Justin Verlander's trying to creep up on 300. Got 288 dudes that he punched out.
Verlander's the man. He's been doing it for years.
Low key, you might want to give Justin Verlander to the Cy Young.
Yeah, that's what they're saying, that he's probably going to win it.
Him and Garrett Cole.
What's his
Garrett
ERA?
Cole's ERA is 2.52. Justin Verlander's is 2.53. Justin Verlander has thrown 217 innings. Garrett Cole only threw 207.1. I mean, their stats are like almost identical. Wow.
That's what they're
crazy.
talking about. It's been the running thing that they've
I'd probably give it to JV, to be honest. Even though Garrett Cole gave you dominance.
He gave you dominance.
But JV has 20 wins.
Oh.
But that's not
20-6 to 19-5.
How can you blame Garrett Cole for that?
I'm just telling you. Maybe if he had one more start, 10 more innings, maybe he'd get his dub.
How many wins does he have?
19. Just not
Does
20.
Does he have one more start coming?
Is vicious.
That 20 just
sound. He has got a tingle to it.
20-game winner.
20-game winner. You can't take
not
that
a
away.
19-game winner.
Nah, I'm a 20-game winner. Nobody's known for being a 19-game winner. Wow.
Except for Garrett Cole.
Except for 315 strikeout Garrett Cole. Wow, that's great. All righty. You got anything else you want to? Oh, you know we want to talk about? We want to talk about AB.
Oh yeah.
So it looks like the New England Patriots might actually be on the hook to give AB that signing bonus, as per what everybody's reporting.
Yeah, the MLB. I mean, they're trying to squeeze it out of him, huh?
The
NFLPA.
He wants him to file a grievance for it because they're saying they only have 4 reasons that they cannot pay a signing bonus, and he doesn't fit into those categories of any of those 4 reasons.
Don't worry, they'll figure it out.
Football's dirty like that. Let's take on the AB saga.
Man, I think they owe that man that money. Get that man that money. Like
I personally don't understand what a signing bonus is for if I don't get it when I sign.
No. I personally don't understand what a contract is for when you don't have to stand by it, and that's what the NFL does. They have all these contracts, and they're just like the paper that you go and wipe your butt with.
It might as well be.
Yeah, because they don't ever have to stand by anything.
Shout out to Sharma.
They don't ever have to stand by it. So if they come up with any kind of excuse on not to pay you, they do it, and then
they're gonna find a loophole.
Always a loophole.
Always.
We spoke about it last week.
Always.
We knew they were going to figure out a way. Now, my problem with AB more so than anything is that I know that he's burning bridges and doing it. Honestly, he has some kind of justification, or he's right in a certain degree, because what he's done in the past recently, there's so many other players in the league that they've done way worse than he has. You know what I'm saying? And it's just
violence, domestic violence, murder,
rape, everything.
Rape. There's a lot of
not to justify anything that he's done.
I understand what you're saying.
But they're really sticking the screws to him now because he's turning on the locker room. And that's his problem. You can't turn on the locker room. Now he's got all the other NFL players standing up against him.
Sure did. He got into it yesterday with Eric Weddle and
did he?
Yeah, Golden on
Twitter.
On Twitter, because he came out and he said, "I'm done with the NFL. I'll never play for this. These guys don't stand by their contracts. I retire from the NFL."
Yeah, now he's talking about the NFL needing.
Then he went and had to go do that deposition in Miami for throwing the furniture off the balcony, and seems like AB was like, you know what? I kind of need my bread. So maybe the NFL needs me. I'm the best. Let's see if this one works.
Maybe the NFL needs me. I'm the best.
And Golden Tate responded with, what? That's what he said. He said, they need you?
Well, he's going to have a hard time even fitting in any locker room now.
Yeah, because now people are just going to look at him crazy.
Which is a trip, though, because it seemed like, honestly, he seemed like he was on the straight and narrow for that period with New England. Mm-hmm. He came out. He played well in the game. He had said all the right things during practice.
That was only a week.
That's listen. It's only 16. It's only.
You have more discipline than a week.
It's only 16 weeks in the season. But see, he didn't get fired for locker room stuff there. The reason he got let go there was because he sent those intimidating texts to the witness, and he was over the top talking about what he did on her back and X, Y, and Z. And Robert Kraft didn't appreciate that.
I mean, then he tried to put Robert Kraft throw him under the bus,
which is why it feels like he'll never get another job in the league because
they said Bill Belichick went rogue to cite him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was all him.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And made Bill look bad.
Bill.
Wow. Well, on a different note, they're saying Melvin Gordon could play Sunday against the Dolphins. So Melvin Gordon's looking like he's going to come back.
Unfortunately, he's going to mess up my FanDuel.
Yeah, because you got Eckler?
Yeah, I got to take Eckler out.
Tell the people what happened in your FanDuel last week.
I came in number 20 out of how many thousand was it? 45.
That's
45,000
in one of those tournaments.
Yeah, I came in number 20 out of 45,000. Only won $300, but still.
But how much was the bet?
The dollar.
You tell a terrible story.
Thank you.
It was
it was $7. It was a $7 bet.
He made a $7 bet.
$7.77.
The 20th place out of 45,000 people.
Yeah.
If he comes in first, he wins 25 racks off of $7, and the only difference was.
Do we have to say it?
Say it.
No.
Lambo wants to know.
No, because FanDuel so bogus. What was it?
It wasn't.
No, it wasn't. This was on him. This wasn't no FanDuel.
Oh.
This was Dalvin Cook. I took
Dalvin Cook destroyed the Raiders.
And I took him out of my lineup and put in Austin Eckler. Oh. And Austin Eckler stuck the joint up for the first time all year.
And part of the problem was, they said, this is my biggest problem with fantasy football in general.
Yeah, because they had the question mark next to him.
Right. Well,
you get
his
game time. He's game time
decision.
And they literally mean game time.
Yeah, literally.
And so game time comes, I take him out. I'm like, I can't take a chance. Let me take him out just in case. I take him out.
And he goes
berserk.
He went ham on the Raiders.
And Austin Eckler didn't do anything.
And nobody else, did any of those 19 people in front of you have Dalvin Cook?
They had Dalvin Cook.
Oh, they all had Dalvin Cook.
Now, with the numbers that Dalvin Cook put up, he would have won the tournament.
Yeah.
And the 25.
You added
with his team. Tell him
Dalvin Cook.
Yes. Tell him who you had.
Oh, I had a monster squad. I had Mike Evans. Who was it? Who else was it? I had
he had everybody who balled out on Sunday.
Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, McCaffrey. Wow.
Yeah, I had the what tight end did I have? I had a nice tight end, the best tight end in the league last week. I need to look that lineup up. No, it wasn't Travis Kelce.
Kittle from San Francisco?
Nope, it wasn't George Kittle. It was.
Why didn't you look it up? You had the thing. You showed it to me 20 times. You could believe you didn't get your cheese.
I can believe it. You guys go ahead and discuss why I pulled this up.
Yeah, exactly. And surprisingly, last night on Thursday Night Football, which actually hurt the ratings of the Unicorn. Shout out to everybody who supported us to watch the Unicorn premiere. But good game last night, actually, between Philly and Green Bay. Mm-hmm. And they picked off, I almost said Brett Favre. They picked off Aaron Rodgers in the end zone to win the game. How about that? I turned the game off. And how about those bad calls? Now, tell me the take on what's your take? What's the point in the league making these rules if you can't then in turn amend the calls?
Right.
It just becomes a pissing contest because now the refs don't want to be wrong. Just like in baseball, the umpires don't want to be wrong. Even when they go through the whole little rigmarole, putting your head in the box and looking on the
right.
Yeah.
What's the decision?
There's a theater to it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Let me see. My tight end was Greg Olsen.
That's what it was. Greg Olsen.
Adam Thielen, Nelson Aguilar, Mike Evans. Mark Ingram.
Unlike Aguilar. You see that video on Twitter?
Yeah.
With the dude.
Oh, wow.
Really? You never seen it? There was a dude.
Oh, that was the best.
Yeah.
That was the best.
They were just throwing babies.
And I was catching them too. Unlike Aguilar. How about Aguilar taking the high road, though, and inviting them, saying how much I love what you do in the community. I want to invite you and your family to a game.
Yeah.
And I'll drop the tickets off. Get it? I'll drop them off.
Let me tell you something, Chris. You always need a sleeper. I had my sleeper was Kyle Allen last week, and it was 4.8% owned.
Ooh, and how many did he come with?
24.34.
On a 4% own, that's perfect. Ooh. Those are the ones that get you W's in FanDuel.
Yeah, because nobody's scoring when they're
regular fantasy.
Yeah,
I don't play regular fantasy. I don't want to be in your league and
not interested.
I don't want to do that.
It really doesn't work well though for baseball. It's hard to pick in baseball, because the variables is way too much. People are playing bullpen games now, and so you'll put a player in there, and then they'll take
FanDuel. You're saying doesn't work?
Yeah, FanDuel doesn't work well for baseball. For football, it's great.
I love it. Yeah, football and basketball is amazing.
All right, folks, this has been a spirited edition of the O-Zone. Brought a new family member into the O-Zone. Happy to have you, Lambo.
Man,
Godspeed. We wish you the best in your career.
I appreciate y'all, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It was awesome, man.
Thank you. Y'all are crazy. We got to go to a Dodgers game, man. I don't know.
Come on. We got at least 2 of them at the Ravine coming up. At least 2 next week. Going to leave you with a quote from Winston Churchill. Continuous efforts, not strength or intelligence, is the key to unlocking our potential. Stay at it, folks. Don't let anything knock you down and keep you down. I'm your host, Omar Miller. Remember, we are all in this thing together. This is the O-Zone.
O-Zone.
I'm just living the dream. I'm in love with the lights.